if you're like me, you want to get results fast. I don't want to spend months and months and months dieting and do something in 12 months that can take 2 months. If I wanted to drop 10 kilos of pure body fat in 4 weeks, this is exactly what I would do. It's called the PSMF, or protein sparing modified fast. So basically, it's a very short-term aggressive fat loss phase. So here's how it works. 3 rules. Rule number 1, protein stays very high. Rule number 2, everything else drops. It's short and aggressive. This is not a lifestyle diet. Get in, strip the fat down, then go back to sustainable eating. So think about it like this. A normal diet is like taking the stairs. Slow, steady, can get pretty exhausting after a while. It gets boring, right? The PSMF is taking the elevator. We're just going to get there 10 times faster. We're going to maintain muscle mass along the way. Yes, it will be harder, but it's a shorter sprint, so it's more manageable. So why should you listen to me? Well, I've been a professional coach for the past 15 years. I'm a former Australian champion athlete in surf lifesaving. I was a professional fitness model for various years, been on magazine features, things like that. But more importantly, I've helped transform over 150 lives of high-performing men in the last 12 months alone. And here's just some of the guys that we've helped. All of these guys are between 35 to 60, high performers, professionals, busy men, have kids, travel, things like that. That's who we work with. So here's the problem with normal diets. On the graph over here, you have body weight lost in kilos, and then down the bottom is time. So with the traditional way of dieting, it's so slow and steady, it can be demotivating after a while. You know, after a month, you've lost like maybe 1 or 2 kilos or even less. By the time we hit week 7, week 8, most people quit, they regain the body fat, they go back to their old habits, and they're just kind of on that old hamster wheel. With the protein sparing modified fast, we do a very aggressive phase. So the fat loss happens very fast from the start. That can be very motivating for a lot of people, seeing the weight go down every single week, especially after a few days. So that actually builds momentum, it builds motivation to keep going. Now, because we just do it for a very short time, after the 4 to 6 weeks absolute maximum, then we transition to more of a maintenance or a steady, like traditional diet phase. So it's getting a head start. Both have the same goal. Both work. One gets you faster, one does not. The goal of any diet, when we're talking about fat loss, should be burn the maximum amount of fat while protecting the maximum amount of muscle. You don't want to be one of those guys who goes on their weight loss journey and they end up skinny fat, right? You look like an Ethiopian marathon runner and you basically lost all your muscle mass. That's what we're trying to avoid at all costs. The number one thing that does protect muscle is, drumroll, protein. Probably not surprised there. So if we eat enough protein, cut down on everything else, the body burns fat and actually spares as much muscle as possible. So you might be asking, Shannon, so what the hell do you eat on this diet? How does it all work? Great question. So lean protein is going to make up the bulk of the nutrition. Chicken breasts, white fish, tuna, egg whites. Can eat beef as well, but you want to opt for the leanest cuts of beef. Things like fat-free cottage cheese are good as well. Vegetables are unlimited. So the leafy greens, things like broccoli, spinach, cauliflower, stuff like that, you can pretty much eat as much as you want. You're not going to gain body fat. And it's going to help you feel a lot fuller as well. Things you do want to avoid with the vegetables are things like corn, peas, carrots, potatoes, too starchy, too high in carbs. Fish oil, we're going to have 6 fish oil cuts per day, non-negotiable. This is important for brain functions, it's important for energy, things like this. The supplementations, you want to have a multivitamin, you want to be taking in sodium, magnesium, and a lot of water. So basically, eat lots of meat, no carbs, no fat, no alcohol, no sugar. Make sense? So you might be thinking, okay, but how many calories do I eat per day? Well, let's say on a normal diet, they need roughly 2,500 calories per day to maintain their body weight. On the protein sparing modified fast, we're aiming for 800 to 1,000 calories, depending on how big you are, how much you weigh. So the daily deficit's around 2,000 calories, which is a very aggressive calorie deficit. However, you will be pulling the maximum amount of fat for energy during this process. Here's what it looks like in a nice, sexy graph for you. 5% of the total fat per day is coming from the fish oil and the meats that you're eating. 5% of the calories are coming from carbs, which is pretty much all veggies. 90% of the calories are coming from protein. Your body fat provides all of the extra energy that you need. All right, Shannon, eat a lot of protein. Got it. But how much protein do I actually eat? Well, let me break it down for you. We do this simple equation. Take your body weight in kilos, multiply it by 1 minus your body fat percentage. That way we get your lean muscle mass in kilos. Once we have that number, times it by 2.2, that gives us our lean body mass in pounds. Once we have our lean body mass in pounds, then we times it by 0.8 to 1.0. That tells us how much grams of protein we should be eating per day. So let's say you're a 90 kilo guy, 25% body fat. So what that will look like is 90 times 0.75 equals 67.5 kilos of lean mass. Then we take that 67.5 times it by 2.2. That gives us around 150 pounds of lean body mass. Once we have the pounds of lean body mass, we times that by either 0.8 or 1.0. If you're already weight training, then do it by the 1.0, which most guys who are watching this will be. So for example, let's say 150 pounds times 1.0 equals 150 grams of protein per day. That's around 4 to 5 palm-sized portions of chicken breast or fish per day. So what's actually happening inside of you while we're on this protocol? Your carb stores in your body will be pretty much empty. So your body will actually switch to fat for fuel, which means your body will actually burn most of your stored body fat for energy throughout the day. So the liver makes ketones from fat, and the brain and body run on those instead. That's how we're going to shred so much fat so fast. And here's an important distinction I really want to make. Weight loss is not equal to fat loss. So let's put it this way. Let's say in 2 weeks, you drop 10 kilos on the scales. 5 to 6 kilos of that will be water weight. Completely normal. It does come back. It's no big deal. 4 to 5 kilos of that will be from the actual fat loss. That's the real win. So be honest with yourself about the numbers. And by the way, 4 to 5 kilos of fat loss in 2 weeks is amazing. Think about how big a 5 kilo stick of butter would be. That's all fat loss that you've left from your body. So still incredible results. Just don't think that every single kilo is coming from fat loss. Make sense? So how long can you actually do this diet? It depends. Depends how lean you are. So if you're lean already, under 15% body fat, I will do this for 14 days max. Then we do 2 to 3 days of refeeds, which means like high carb meals, things like that. Pasta, go to a restaurant, have a cheat meal. Then we can go again, or we can go back to sustainable. Same with average, 16 to 25% body fat. You can do this for 2 to 6 weeks. Then we take a 2-week break of like maintenance calories. Then we can go again, or we can just continue a normal diet. If you're really overweight, over 26% body fat, we can do this for 6 to 12 weeks. I have had clients do this for up to 12 weeks before, get tremendous results. But during that time, we do what's called free meals, 2 free meals per week. Basically, you can go to a restaurant, you can cook a nice meal at home, but I'm talking things like, maybe a burger, a couple of slices of pizza, pasta, things like that. So it is restrictive, but 2 times a week, you can have the meals that you like. So it's not that terrible when you think about it. To summarize, the leaner you are, the shorter the time that you can safely do this. And look, your body will fight back. So we do have this thing called a metabolism, right? I'm sure you've heard of it. After we diet for a while, metabolism slows down, hunger goes up, hormones drop, energy starts tanking. This is why we build in planned breaks. So do not follow the PSMF for longer than you need to. It's actually productive. And this is how we do the planned breaks. We have a free meal, one normal dinner out, 1 to 2 times per week. Not a binge, couple slices of pizza, not the whole box, right? Not a double whopper with cheese with the extra large thick shake and the 10 chicken nuggets, you know what I mean? So a normal meal. We also have refeeds. So these are like structured high carb days, resets the hormones, fills the muscle glycogen back up, gives us more energy. And then we can have a full diet break. So that's like 2 weeks of eating normally back at maintenance. Then your metabolism recovers. Then we can go again if need be. Very important point I want to make. The guys who white knuckle it with no breaks and go too long, these are the guys who crash and burn. These are the guys who fuck their metabolism up and end up putting weight back on. Don't be that guy. When you're on the PSMF, you want to exercise less than what you think, right? So when it comes to weight training, 2 to 3 sessions per week is plenty. We want to go full body, heavy weights to signal to the body to keep as much muscle mass as possible. Cardio is okay as well. You can do light walking, 30 to 40 minutes a day, a few times a week. Helps with appetite, helps with mindset, and just helps with overall mood as well. Don't do hours of cardio or high intensity cardio. So don't be doing hill sprints or sprints on the treadmill, things like that. The deficit is already massive, right? So more cardio means your metabolism's going to crash faster. So something to keep in mind. Okay, so now the diet's finished. Now what do I do, Shannon? So this is where most guys fail. This might sound familiar to you. Do a diet, do a nutrition plan, get decent results, get great results, lose a bunch of kilos. A month later, jump back on the scales, you're back to where you started. Blow back up like a balloon, thinking, shit, how did I get back here? Not again. That's what most guys do. Ruin everything, waste all that time and effort. The second path is to slowly add carbs and fats back into the diet. Keep the protein high, keep eating veggies, monitor your weight weekly. If you do gain 2 to 3 kilos in a week, tighten up the diet, tighten up the calories, and then reassess from there. And that's how you actually sustain your results. I've used the protein sparing modified fast with many clients over the past couple of years. We've had tremendous results, tremendous success. This is for the guy, if you're like me, you want to get results fast. I don't want to spend months and months and months dieting and do something in 12 months that can take 2 months. I'd rather do the hard shit first, get it out of the way, and then go to cruise mode after that. So it's totally up to you. You can go for the normal diet path. It does work, but it sucks. Or we could just do aggressive, drop the fat fast, get motivated, see the results in the mirror every single day, and then go back to a sustainable plan after that. I created a specialized document. If you want all this one place, we can read over it and do the protein sparing modified fast on your own. Comment PSMF below and I'll send it to you. If you want to skip all the guesswork and you want somebody to actually put the plan in front of you and do it all based around your blood work and have that world-class accountability and support in your corner every step of the way, then you can book a one-on-one call with me or my team. Let's have a chat about your goals, where you want to be, what's been holding you back, and we can see if it makes sense to work with each other. Thanks for watching if you made it this far, and follow for more value.